Hi guys, welcome, hello. It's so good to be back with you, to be making this video. I feel so thankful and relieved to be in the headspace where I'm able to do this. The last 6 weeks or so have been interesting, really interesting. And it seems to be going around. I'm not the only one who's been struggling for the last few weeks. So I'm back and I want to fill you guys in on what's been happening and what I've learned. When I said I was going to do this channel, I said that it was going to be authentic, that it was going to be genuine, that it was going to be transparent. So I want to fill you in on what's been happening and the lessons that I've learned, some for, second, third, fourth, fifth time. Okay, so when I decided to do this channel, it's because I wanted to really share the benefit of being in the right headspace when dealing with life. And I had found this really great headspace and this point of gratitude and happiness. And I've been there for a while. And of course I still have bad days, as I've always said, but the majority of my days were in that really great place of gratitude and joy. So lately, that has not been the case. And I have had stressful things happen. Life is like that. It's never going to be a walk in the park for very long anyway. But that's not unusual. I always have stressful things happen. There's always things that come up that try to pull my peace and sometimes do pull my peace for a moment. But this has been different. The things that have been going on in my life, though stressful, they haven't seemed to be any more stressful than normal, but for whatever reason, I was having a really hard time staying focused, keeping my mind sharp, and I have this really great formula for self-care that I put into place a while ago that is tried and true, proven to work for me, and it wasn't working. I started to freak out a little bit, you guys, because, I have this channel and I'm telling everyone, like, this is what your brain needs, this is what your body needs, this is what works for me, it can work for you, and then all of a sudden it wasn't working for me. And I started to freak out a little bit. So in my life, I have a commitment to continual learning, to continual growth, to self-awareness, self-reflection, and I'm committed to constantly seeking awareness and peace. And in that vein, I have a lot of moments, usually at night when I'm trying to sleep, where I go through the day, I go through my, headspace, and I try to figure out if things aren't what I want them to be, what part of that is due to my own behavior and my own choices. I want to be very cognizant of how my behavior and my choices contributes to my misery or my joy or my excitement or whatever the feelings are that I'm having, because I don't want to just be going through life unaware of the impact I'm having on myself. So in those moments of self-reflection, I noticed a pattern in my behavior. So several months ago, a friend of mine sent me a text message and asked me how I was doing. And I told her, I'm not doing well. All of this stuff is happening and I don't know what's going on. And this was, several months ago. And in that moment, I felt like everything was crumbling around me. And what's funny about that now is that I don't even remember what was happening, you guys. I don't even remember what it was that had me feeling just completely discombobulated. But at the time, it was a huge deal. And her response to me was this video of a shaman who was talking about storms, and that when storms come through our lives, it's important that we don't attach to them. And he had this story. I didn't understand what he was talking about. I was like, what is this? I don't even understand what he's saying. I don't even get these words. And I was frustrated and I let it go. But the message stuck with me. And I guess it just had to stick for a while and marinate and resonate, because during a moment of self-reflection recently, the video came back to mind. And the idea is this. We go through things in life. We go through good things, we go through struggles, and that's life, you know. When we are in a storm, when we are surrounded by stress and, you know, discourse, we have choices, right? Those events are going to bring up feelings within us that are unpleasant, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to have unpleasant feelings. That's just part of life, and there's nothing we can do about that. But it's important in those moments to be aware that we can either attach ourselves to those feelings of stress, fear, anxiety, whatever the feelings are that accompany the experience that we're going through, or we can recognize those feelings and say, yeah, this sucks. I mean, I don't like what I'm feeling right now. I don't like what I'm experiencing. There's a certain degree of anxiety. There's a certain degree of hopelessness. I'm feeling that, but that's okay. I'm not going to attach to it. I'm just going to observe it, look for the lesson, and then move through it. But what I had been doing for the past 6 weeks or so is attaching to these feelings of anxiety and fear and like, oh my gosh, what if there's something inherently wrong with me? I don't have a, low self-image, but I'm like, I'm doing all of this self-care and it's not working. My brain isn't working right. I feel like it's like stuck in quicksand. I can't think of my words. All of this fear and anxiety associated with the headspace that I was in, I had attached myself to. It's okay to not be okay. We hear it a lot, but we hear it a lot because it's true. So instead of just recognizing like, okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with me, but my self-care isn't working right now, but that's okay. I'm having some fear and some anxiety around this. That's okay too. I'm not going to attach to those feelings. I'm going to recognize them, look for the lesson, which in my case, the lesson was sometimes it bees like that. You guys, if I had a dime for every time I said sometimes it bees like that, I wouldn't have to work. But it's so true. Sometimes it bees like that. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we're ecstatic, sometimes we're exhausted. That's just life. That's the way it is. And it's okay that sometimes it bees like that. So that was the lesson for me. So after some reflection, I realized I was attaching to these negative feelings. I needed to let them go, be aware of them, accept them, and let them go. And recognize that it's okay and that it does not mean that this is the beginning of the end, and that I don't have to be afraid of that, and move through it. So I did. I recognized what I was doing and I moved through it. This was a few weeks ago. So here's what's interesting. When we have moments of self-reflection where we're honest with ourselves about what we're doing and what we're feeling and how we are contributing to our current state of mind and what we can do to improve things within ourselves, we become more aware. And when we're more aware, we are able to change our behavior patterns in real time. In other words, recognize what we're doing when we're doing it and flip the script, as opposed to reflecting on it on the back end and then thinking, man, I really wish I would have done things differently. So since my revelation and being aware of what I was doing to contribute to my misery, there have been quite a few more stressful events that have happened in my life. And instead of attaching to the fear that was associated to those events, I was like, oh, no, okay, all right, I know what this is. I know what I need to do. This sucks. For example, yesterday morning, Aiden, who is driving now, took the Jeep out. It cut off. We just replaced the air conditioner in the Jeep, put a bunch of money into it, got it back on Thursday, and then Friday morning it cuts off and he's stranded on the side of the road. So I take Willow to school. I come to see what's going on. I can't get it started either, and we have to push it 4 blocks back to the house, partially uphill. One of the things that's happened in my life over the last 6 weeks is that I've developed a pretty intense shoulder injury. So the very last thing that I needed to be doing first thing on a Friday morning when I'm supposed to be at work is pushing our Jeep Wrangler 4 blocks to the house. It sucked, you guys. It hurt. It was hot. It was muggy. I was tired. My quads were sore from working out already. And here I am pushing this car with my 16-year-old son. So in the moment, I was, my inner dialogue was full of lots of explicitives and, focused on how miserable I was at that moment, which is fine. But instead of breaking down and be like, oh, my life is so hard, I can't believe this happened, how am I going to pay for this, blah, blah, blah. Instead of doing all that, I recognized that I was miserable, that I was annoyed, that I had no idea how we were going to deal with this situation, but that's okay. It's not personal. It's just life. And that if I allow myself to recognize those feelings and then let them pass instead of attaching to them, my day will not be an absolute waste. And you guys, it worked. And all it took was that awareness and that inner dialogue that went something like this. Okay, Katie, this is awful, but it's okay. You're okay. Your son's okay, most importantly. And thank God you're only 4 blocks from the house. I'm so thankful that you are able to push the car back to the house and that you're able to work through this. And you're not going to attach to these negative feelings because you're not going to let them ruin your day. So take a breath and let's get moving. And that's how it sounded, and it worked. The rest of my day was great. I took Aiden. We got his driver's license. It was a fantastic moment. And everything worked out fine instead of me attaching to all of the fear and anxiety and concern around the situation that could have ruined not only my day but my weekend. And I called a repair guy. He came over this morning. The Jeep is fixed. I mean, it could not have been easier to deal with the challenging situation. And it would not have been easy like that had I approached it the way I've approached things in the past. So that's what I've learned in the last 6 weeks. So how does that relate to filming? Why have I not made a video in the last 6 weeks with all of the things that are going on? And here's the answer for that. The format that I use for these videos is a little unorthodox. I don't do any editing. I sit down, I press record, and whatever comes to mind, whatever comes out of my mouth is what I post. There are not multiple takes. The first take is the only take. And I've never watched any of the videos that I've posted. And I'm very intentional about this. For one thing, I don't want to watch them because if I do, I won't post them. I'll be focused on why do I look ridiculous? Why do I talk that way? Why do I make these faces? And then everything becomes about me and not about the message. And that's not what I want. So that's one of the reasons that I don't watch the videos. The reason that I don't take multiple takes or edit anything is because I want the videos to be an honest, accurate representation of my life, which is not perfect. And I am not perfect. And I don't want to put a product out there that's perfect because then it doesn't accurately represent my life. So you're going to see me forget my words. You're going to see me, mess up. It happens frequently. But I'm okay with that because that's honest and transparent. The challenge with that is that if my brain is bogged down to the point that I can't even think of my words and I can't make coherent sentences with enough energy and tension that it resonates with the viewers, that I'm putting a product out there that's not going to do what it's meant to do. And when I record these videos, there's an awful lot of intention behind them. And I'm sending you guys so much love through this camera that you may be unaware of, and that's completely fine. But if I don't have the energy required to be able to do that, then the product that I'm putting out will not be the type of product that you deserve. And that's why I haven't been recording anything lately, but I'm so excited to be back And I appreciate your patience. And I've gotten some really sweet messages and encouraging, thoughts sent from you guys, which I appreciate. It means so much to me. And I am super grateful to now be in the headspace where I can do this again and I can think of my words and put some good out into the world like I had intended. So thank you for your patience, you guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be back next week, and I'll be talking about what it is to live a gratitude-centered life, what that feels like, how to achieve that, what it actually means, and what it doesn't mean. I'm very excited about that. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.